Hello, I've got Home Designer Essentials 2014 open, and I thought I would talk a little bit about just the subject of study and how you go from not knowing to knowing. It's a process, and there's an actual technology to it. I don't plan to give you an entire course on the technology of study, but just know that there is a technology to study, and it's a science like any other science. But anyway, say you've installed your software and you open it for the first time. I really recommend that you go to the Help menu and really confront. I use this word confront a lot, and confront means to squarely look at so as to see what you're looking at. It sounds so simple that you might think that I'm just fooling with you or something. No, I really mean it. Let's look at the View User's Guide under the Help menu. That opens a web browser, and here is the PDF. That's a portable document format. It's a format created by the Adobe Corporation, and it's widely used on the internet. And then this document opens in your browser. Now I have Chrome open. It'll also, if you have Firefox or if you have whatever browser you have, you'll get the same result. Let's look at this. Click on the Contents tab, and if you're having any trouble with the software, it's probably because your system requirements don't meet the minimums, or they just barely do. You should read this. And something I should point out about Adobe Reader, this says that we're on page 3 of 166 pages. And it says 3 here. So even though the page may say one thing, sometimes in Adobe documents the pages don't agree. And so this will show up better later in the tutorial. But of course, this system requirements is on page 7. So I'm going to type in a 7 up here and then hit the enter key. And now we're on page 7. Now here's your requirements for Essentials 2014. I'm not going to go over those. I'm just going to say documents like this and how to navigate them and so forth will smooth your study, because everything you need to know about using the program's in here. Let's see, roof tutorial. It's in the user's guide. New users, you should go through this and read it and see what it says. Let's say you're reading along here and you don't know, you come across a word that you don't understand, like this one here, mansard roof. So you can see my cursor changes to a little hand with a finger. I'm going to left click on that, and it takes you to that mansard roofs, and it explains to you what a mansard roof is. You can also select in an Adobe document, select something and then right click on it, and see there it says look up mansard. If you don't know what the word mansard means, it's just a misunderstood word. So I'm going to left click on that, and that'll open another browser window, and here's mansard in the at dictionary.com, and you can even click on this and it'll tell you how to properly pronounce it. I wonder if I'm pronouncing it right.
Mansard.
Mansard. Okay, I got it right. Now, and then there's definition 1, definition 2. You'll notice that most English words have more than one definition. It's very common. And number 1, the first definition is usually the most common, and then the less common ones are the down-numbered ones. And also part of understanding a word is also looking at the origin, where this word came from. It's called word etymology, how a word works its way into the English language. And that's a important part of fully understanding a word. When you clear a word, you read the way to clear a word properly is first of all, if you're reading something, let's go back over here to This is where I first saw this word. And so I need to understand this word in the context of what's being spoken of here. Let's go back to the definition. Also called mansard roof, a hip roof, each face of which has a steeper lower part, shallower upper part. See illustration. I don't see an illustration here. I don't see an illustration. Okay, so it's some kind of roof. And also the second definition is referring to a room or a living space underneath such a roof. And it was coined, the word came from a French architect named Mansart, who first designed that sort of roof, and then it was named after him. Okay? So now let's talk about, well, that's fine as a definition, but what does a mansard roof look like? Let's go over to, I'm just going to get rid of this address here and just mansard and hit the enter key. Okay, there's some pictures. There's a mansard roof. Google's very good about supplying imagery and so forth, but you have to look for it. And there's another example of a mansard, this building here. It's French provincial looking, I don't know if that's, yeah, these are mansard roofs. So you really need to have the mass of what a word represents. You know, it was named after the French architect who first designed this kind of roof. And there's some examples. We looked at the definition and the origin and so forth. And now you understand the word mansard. Another example of misunderstood words, how they can really trip you up. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to go to Word. I set this up. Read this sentence here. It says, when the crepuscule was present, the children were quieter. Well, if you don't understand what this word means, you don't understand the sense of the sentence, do you? Okay, I know. First time I read this sentence when I was studying study technology, I certainly didn't. It was a perfect example. I'm going to copy that and go over to my web browser and open a new tab and then paste in that. And here's one here, the free dictionary. We'll use that. So,
Crepuscule.
Crepuscule. Okay. So it's just a synonym that means twilight or the dark. See, Middle English from Old English from Latin. Crepusculum. It just means dark. So let's go back to the Word document. So when it was dark, the children were quieter. Now it makes perfect sense. And this is just an excellent example of if you don't understand the word, you don't understand the concept being conveyed. Now this is a very simple example, but I think you should get the idea. So let's go back to the user's guide here. So anytime you come across a term you don't know, look it up. If you don't look it up, you're just going to remain stupid. And I don't want you to remain stupid because there's no reason for it. If you want to know how to do roofs, you can click here and go through this roof tutorial. There's a lot of useful articles on various uses of the program. Now, let's close this. I'm going to go back to essentials. The next thing is I wanted to show you is View Reference Manual. We looked at the user's guide, and that's a good thing to get you kind of oriented with the software, how it works, and why it does what it does. Now, the user's guide, the reference manual, again, it's going to open as an Adobe PDF document in your web browser. And by the way, if your internet connection is not great, you can take a document like this and click on this icon here. It says Save a Copy and save it to your hard drive so you don't have to open it on the internet. Just left click there and it opens just a little, and here's the actual name of the document. I'll save it to my desktop, save. Let's go to my desktop. And where is that thing? That's probably it. Yeah, there it is there. Well, I double-clicked on it and didn't know. Oh, okay. Okay, it opened on my second monitor, sorry. I have two monitors. Okay, and so here it is opening from my desktop. So it'll open on the web. You can download it as a file and just keep it for reference. And anything you want to know about, you can click here. Now I think here, see this page says page 138. This is what I was talking about a moment ago. And up here is an Adobe PDF document number 139. So the page numbers are slightly different. So you have to know that. No, otherwise you can get kind of confused. Okay, so I've shown that you can select, left-click, drag, right-click, and if you don't quite understand what the word assessed means, you select it, and there's your definition. Okay, not saying anybody does or doesn't understand that. It's just for the individual, you come across something you don't understand, get it defined. Read the definition, put it into your own words, make some example sentences of using that word by that definition until you really get a good, thorough understanding of the word, and then move on to the next definition, make some example sentences, and then move on to the etymology and make sure that you understand where the word came from and how it got into English, and then you're done. You fully understand that word. You won't have to look it up again because you understand it. And that's the whole point of me emphasizing this. If you don't understand the words and symbols in material that's designed to convey knowledge to you, you won't get it. And I want you to get it, and I'm sure you want to get it. Well, it's a process. And whenever you're reading along, and you get down to the bottom of the page or the paragraph, and you get the sensation of, well, I don't know what I just read. Well, then that's a perfect example. That's evidence that you passed a word that you didn't fully understand. There's lots of words that we kind of, sort of understand, and people just live with that sort of an ignorance. And you need to self-discipline and train yourself. When you read something and you don't understand it, you have to go back and look for and find the word that you didn't understand and get it defined. I mean, that is the solution. That is the technology of study. If you understand words and symbols, and when you finish studying something, aka reading, then you can open the software and do what was described. If you can't do what was described, then you didn't understand it. Know that. You can chisel that in letters of fire, 40 feet tall, that if you study something and then you can't do it after studying it, it's because you didn't understand what you studied. So what you do about it is you go back to the material and carefully look through it, and whenever your attention sticks on a word and you're sitting there, well, yeah, I kind of sort of know what that means. Well, if you kind of sort of know, you don't know. You either know or you don't know. But you have to just be honest with yourself. And if you really want to learn something, that's how you learn it. You don't BS yourself when you don't fully understand something. You don't recognize that you don't fully understand it and get it fully understood by understanding the definitions of that word or symbol and practice with that symbol or word until you fully understand it, and then move on. Then you read the paragraph again, you understand what it says. It's that simple. It's that fundamental. Okay. I'm going to go back to essentials here. I wanted to show you some other things. Let's draw some walls. Okay. Now I'm going to go to Select Objects and just click on a wall so that it is selected. And of course, whenever you select anything, the Edit toolbar comes into being. When you deselect something, the Edit toolbar goes away. And depending on what you select, like when I click on the wall, I get an Edit toolbar of commands that are germane to the wall, and if I select the room, I get commands that are germane to the room. It's like, we'll open that. There's the room dialog box. Click on the wall and open. There's the wall specification dialog. I just pulled this off so you could see that it actually says edit on it. It's commonly over here, docked over here, and you would never see the word edit. Now, another thing about the software, I'm going to select a wall and then hit the F1 key. And that hitting the F1 key with something selected will then take you to, it's called context sensitive. So if you have a wall selected, it'll open data about walls. I'm going to click in here and in the room dialog and hit F1. And opens about rooms. Further, let's put a window in the plan. Let's put a door in the plan. Let's put a cabinet in the plan. Okay, now I'm going to select the cabinet and then hit the F1 key on my keyboard. And it goes right to data about cabinets. Door, F1, doors. Window, selected, F1, windows. It's also up here under the help menu as it's also called current mode. See, there's the F1 current mode. In the training videos, it's called context sensitive. Anyway, you get the idea. This is built into the program to help you, and so causatively use it, and it'll help you thereby. Okay. So there's some basics on getting data about what you want to know. All of these drop-down menus are explained in the reference manual. What this command is for and what it does. And I'm not saying that you need to learn every one of these, but when you're trying to do something, then you need to know what the export commands mean, what this command means, what that command means. This one and this one are not the same command. I'm not going to go into explaining them because they're in the reference manual. Another thing about the software is, see, I put my cursor over the cabinet tools, and I got a tool tip. I'm going to put my cursor over here over this camera, and see it says camera view tools. That's called a tool tip. Also, there's a tool tip. If you look in the lower left of the taskbar right down here, when I put my cursor over something, a little message comes up and it says place fireplace by clicking left mouse on wall or in plan. So down here, again, this is context sensitive. There's a stair tool and it says display stair tools. If I left click on it, and there's the stair tools. And there's the tooltip, stair tools. So the program's set up to teach you what it's all about. See, there's a tooltip for that tool, straight deck railing, curved deck edge. If you don't know what a curved deck edge is, then look it up in the reference manual. It's there. And that's what I'm recommending to you guys. Don't just guess. There's no reason for you to have to guess because you've got help files. You've got the user's guide that you should run through and self-discipline yourself to go through and study. And then when you get into making specific things and you want to view the reference manual. And then let's look at one more thing. There's other commands here. You should look at them. But the next one I wanted to cover is, where is it? I don't see it. Okay, there it is. View online help videos. Let's click on that. And again, it opens a browser tab in your browser. And so here's your online and mobile training videos. They redid the videos so that they would work on mobile devices as well as on computers. And these series of symbols here show which program that these videos are germane to and what they're about. Like this video here, Home Designer overview, that pertains to pro, architectural, suite, essentials, but not landscape and deck design, and not interiors. See, there's not a dot here, so that this one doesn't apply to those two titles. This video here, becoming familiar with the interface, applies to all titles. And these are all very useful because it's not, you don't have to read, you can watch. But again, when you're watching these videos, if the person doing the video says something you don't understand, well, write down what it was that he or she said and get it defined, and then watch the video again, and you'll go from misunderstanding or being stupid to now you know what it means. I mean, if you've ever felt bad about yourself because somebody said you were stupid or you felt stupid, there's something you can do about it. Because stupidity is just based on ignorance, and ignorance is just not knowing what words and symbols mean. And that's it. I did a study course back in the 70s. And the final exercise on that course was to take a subject you know utterly nothing about and study it without looking up the words, and then carefully study it and find all the words that you weren't sure of and get them fully understood, and then read it again. I picked an article on nuclear physics, and which I'm terrible at math, and I didn't like that sort of thing. And it's mainly because I just didn't know those symbols and words. So I read the article and I felt stupid, and then I carefully studied and went through the article, looking up all the terms that I came across that I didn't fully understand, and some of them it took me a while to get them fully understood because they're complicated. But I did that, and then I read the article again, and now I understand the basics of nuclear physics. And believe me, if I can do that, anybody can. I'm not a genius, and you don't have to be a genius in order to know something that you want to know. You know, I don't care what other people have said or pronounced about you as an individual. It's not true unless you agree with it. If you want to get smarter, you can get smarter. If you want to become more able, you can become more able. It's just a matter of deciding to do something and then doing it. And with study, it's all wrapped up in understanding the words and symbols that are resident in the material that are designed to convey the knowledge to you. And knowledge is just basically understanding language. And so if you understand the words of a language and you understand the language, it's very straightforward and simple. Now, arriving there, sometimes it just takes time and it takes work. But if you really want to become expert and at using this software or anything you want to master in life, well, then master its nomenclature, its words, and then you will. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. I hope this helps some people.